Good evening, all. I am ZM Wise, the host of the Barnes & Noble 4th Tuesday Reading Series. Tonight, our featured is Mr. Matt Riley. Matt Riley is a poet and librarian. His primary objective in poetry is to, so sorry I have to zoom in and out on this thing, is to create emotional and spiritual resonance, sound, symbol, and rhythm, with meaning to emphasize the mysteries and realities of existence. His poems have appeared in numerous anthologies, and he is a jury poet for the Houston Poetry Festival in October. He will also be a featured poet at a coffee bar on October 29th. Here he is, yours for the taking, Matt Riley.
Thank you, Zach. Thanks for asking me to come and read. Of course, I appreciate it. Half the audience has heard many of these, but I will read some of them anyway. All right, I'll just start with a poem. This one's new. It's called Sketch Hunter, and the action of the poem is it's a painter painting a model, and I think it's maybe explores what it means to be an artist to some degree. It's called Sketch Hunter. He starts with 5 points: eyes, breasts, vagina, each marked with quick precision. Lines appear like tributaries flowing into a place not yet known. He maps her body with pen and brush in equal measure, only stopping to explore new positions, searching her breaks and bends for the island of her will, to locate her invention. He knows no man is final, but still he hunts for answers to this dark philosophy, to be released from the finite, to draw a line from his hand to the void, to create the portrait he imagined himself to be. Thank you. So, go into another poem. This one's called Lake Time. And I think I wrote it, after writing poetry for a while, realized that there's not a lot of overt sense of humor in my poetry, but I do have a sense of humor, so I think I do anyway. So I wanted to express why maybe there's not a lot of humor in my poems. And once again, Lake Time. I love funny with all the rest. I can laugh until my chest hurts, but no one laughs at a lake in a forest glistening. We may laugh to each other when the coots flare up on steps of bursting water, necks craned to the brink of toppling. But a lake is something else, just lying there like a lost gem wanting to be found by a sensitive boy who feels ripples of time warm his heart with a fire that never dies or burns. Thank you. All right, this one's called Waiting in Utopia. Drew labeled, I don't know if he remembers this, but I've read these at our critique group, and he called them my Texas noir or hill country noir. I have a couple of poems. The setting is the hill country. The setting for this one it's a cafe in Utopia, Texas called Los Maples Cafe. And I kind of gave it a little bit of a David Lynch kind of Twin Peaksian flair, kind of a reimagining. Waiting in Utopia. This lovely girl giggles up a storm, more giggling than waiting on tourists up from the river, down from the hills. A wonderful sight to see this lovely girl giggle with pitchers of tea to serve mom and dad, grandma and her fussy kin, young men and ranchers out of pickups just killing time. And then night descends and the last tables fill in with tourists out in the sun for too long. and the stars slowly come on. And this lovely girl still giggles in Utopia, Lost Maples Cafe. But tonight she dreams of a coin in the hole of a dam, holding her screams at bay. Thank you. Waiting in Utopia. All right. This one's called Dreams from the End of the Middle Ages. Sleep comes in warm sheets of citalopram, dreams of young men fighting the machine, and the old men of their younger selves sit in a corner, grooming death with a brush of whalebone and boar hair, rain light dripping down their resigned faces. And now awaken to another dream, the dream of eternal waiting, wanting, when finally the saint whore with full open lips comes to give back their ears, their eyes, dressed in the golden robes of time, stolen from the god of contrarians while he was lost in the machine's matrix, passing through the beaded curtains of wisdom's fading symbols. Thank you, Vivian. Okay, this one's called Hollow Bones. It was published in the Austin International Poetry Festival's Diversity anthology a couple years ago. Hollow Bones. It's a tragedy, but it's a tragedy of minutia and of subtle nuance over long periods of time. It's called Hollow Bones. Old men know the growing distance of your subtle mechanics, when letting go found words on wings, when the lift and drag of a manic heart sent sirens through their languid compositions, the detritus of home around the ashen hearth. They feel it in their hands like rosebuds in the Sahara, like seeing their own faces in a dream half remembered. They say, I will weep for wisdom from the wheeled throne, with arm bled and eyes to stone. I will sign my name song on the hollow bones of your mended hawk, and send him north toward your darkening skies, hounding the lowlands as he flies. They feel hard time in the lines of their jurisdiction, the lines they crafted as artists of industry, the marks in numbers bled dry as the deep lines on their thin, parched skin. Thank you. Let's see. All right, this is another one of my Hill Country Noir poems. This one was published in Dos Gatos Press, Weaving the Terrain. It was a book where the criteria for entry was the poem had to be 100 words exactly, no more, no less. Most of my poems are not much more than 100 words anyway. I had to come in and edit out a few words. But it's called After the Storm. The scene is the Rio Frio River up in the hill country around Lakey, Texas, in that area. And it's just kind of an experience I had when I was out there on vacation. After the Storm. These apparitions arise between mountain rock, murmuring something about the start, something about the end. Their foam white hair circles cypress root to disappear with perch and minnow, dragonfly. In silence they say, let it go, let it die, falling to the calm surface of river and below, to the round white stones at your feet, to riverweed. Above the bank, these ageless oaks lean toward the Frio, their image cast at water's edge, warping in the steady current around your waist, bringing you in and out of reverie and desire, in and out, gazing deep into the eyes of oblivion. Thank you. All right, this one's called Forktail. I guess We're coming up on the Halloween season, so some apropos for that. Forktail. She walks through prairie where tall grasses sway in dappled sunlight, her dress dragging burrs and needles. Again, the great mystery is a forest, huddled in cave light, bird shadow, black magic, more dark matter. A gap in the tree line ahead becomes visible, a mouth, a conveyor to her other half, a conveyor which exits forest through an eye. Is this where traces end and the whispering ghost finds a face? She settles at the periphery, sun falls, and the dark of herself engulfs her defenses. She could have entered when sunlight left stepping stones along the undergrowth. The snarl of limb and brush had parted in a sort of homecoming. Now she must enter unwelcome, eyes unaccustomed to the mechanisms moving inside. Her mother hums a melody in the kitchen of her childhood, and she steps into the darkness without fear, because now she knows this is not just science. Thank you. All right. Let's see. Coma, skip that one. Two more. All right. This one's called The Waiters. This one is the one that's going to be featured in the Houston Poetry Fest in October. So it's called The Waiters, not waiters like I'll bring you food and not, coffee, but waiters like in water. The Waiters. I was calling it of Hurricane Harvey, and I've changed it now to of Hurricane Z, just to be a little more open to all the possibilities. The Waiters. The waiters have come from their homes to meet in the new river, the new procession of darker baptism, hands clutching babes and all that remains of their already old life, shocked into the new way of making their living, this current demanding fundamental change. The boaters pass, stopping for those seeking shelter from what is now, from all of this grief. The rest keep waiting between logic and instinct, slowly making way to higher ground, to the shoreline of a new perspective. An egret passes overhead and lands on the visible chimney, the amazing grace of the ancient ones, always watching over the dead and the heroes, the waiters and the blessed. And in the blue glow of innumerable purgatories, viewers sit in short in circuits of impersonal, unlimited choosing. Thank you. The waiters. And then I'll end with this one called The Man. The Man. Every particle of dust shines in this light, and he thinks of God for some reason. And now he looks like Buddha with glasses, and his children love and hate him all the time. And he's mostly just tired, and the news goes on, and he's mostly just tired. Waves of unrelenting progress. And no one's been hard on him. No one's made him labor and work he didn't choose. No one looks at him with fear or fascination or derision. Mostly no one looks. The things that bothered him then no longer do. And now just a ghost of physical burdens. And then the rare emotion that blooms like a freight train on fire, running loose through ice-cold night. This is not my fault. This is not my fault. His heart beating with the weight of a deliberate soul, and every particle of dust shines in this light, and he thinks of God for some reason. And now the man comes floating in the same breath as yours. Thank you. Thank you all. Appreciate it. appreciate y'all being here for the reading.